Brother lads, welcome back to Cossy Podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to brand new video. Football is officially back. The curtain raiser is done, and Arsenal are champions. The biggest point in this game is that we have broken that 8-game spell Manchester City had over us, consecutive losses. We have now broken it, and we have a trophy for that. Arsenal are champions of the Community Shield edition 2023 after beating Manchester City 4-1 on penalties, 1-1 in the 90. What a game of football we have just seen. What a game of football that has been. I think Mikel Arteta will be very happy with the boys. They've actually put in a performance that was really deserved. It was deserving of a title, it was deserving of a shield, and that is what we exactly got. Let me know in the comment box below who was your man of the match, who was player of the match. A couple of good performances. I'm going to give you 4 options: Odegaard, Saliba, Rice, and Timber. Those are the 4 players that I thought were much better than any of the other players on the pitch. William Saliba keeping quiet, Haaland. I said that in the preview. If you watch my videos, I said he will shut him down. He will keep him quiet, and that was going to be very key in our performance this game. He really did keep Haaland quiet, and William Saliba, what a game he has played today. Timber was the best defender today on the pitch. He's so solid. His ability on the ball is one side, but on the other side, when we are out of possession, when we are trying to win the ball back, when we are trying not to concede, he's such a very important player. Him and Ben White are going to be very key players for us this campaign. Martin Odegaard, of course, the captain with the first penalty, but I like his energy off the ball rather than on the ball, by the way. He's one of those players, like I said, they are always reliable. He's always reliable, and in these big games, he will always turn up. He did turn up in this one, and I thought he was a little bit unlucky, probably not to get an assist in this game, probably not to score 1 in this game, but it was very, very good. And Declan Rice, man of the match for me. He's been given man of the match, and I wouldn't really disagree with that. He's been very good. He has been better than Thomas Partey in this game. For the first time, we have seen a double pivot. And for the first time, we have seen why we signed Declan Rice. For the first time, we've seen what Declan Rice is going to bring to this Arsenal side. So in the comment box below, please let me know who is your man of the match. How do you feel about Arsenal winning the Community Shield? And is this the statement that now we have closed the gap between us and Manchester City? Is this the statement that probably Arsenal are going to mean business this season? That was much better than what we saw in preseason. I'm not really sure how Mikel Arteta did that, but that was so better than the way we played in preseason. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's start off with the 90 minutes. The way the game actually rolled out was at first, in the first 20 minutes, it was more like Arsenal had come to sit back and let Manchester City play. So the first 20 minutes, you had Manchester City bowling, passing the ball around, keeping possession, creating chances, chance after chance. But what I saw and what I actually loved about the first 20 minutes of that game is that although Manchester City did have the possession up to almost 70% for 20 minutes, they did not create a single good chance. The only chance they had in those 20 minutes was Rodri's shot, which was deflected by Declan Rice, and it went wide of the post. That is the only chance. So it literally meant that Arsenal have the ability now to see a game where Manchester City have possession, where Manchester City are doing whatever they can, and we do not concede. That was always going to be very key in the result in this game, in this evening. If Arsenal had conceded in the first 12 minutes, 20 minutes, it was going to be different. It would have been 3-0, it would have been maybe 3-1, maybe 4-0. The fact that they didn't score when they had the bigger chunks of possession, it meant that when Arsenal started growing into the game, when Arsenal started getting into the action, Manchester City were absolutely washed away. So right from the 20th minute until the 75th minute, Arsenal grew into the game. We were much better. We created real good chances. I'm not really sure how Kai Havertz did not score. And I don't want anyone in the comment box below to tell me, because I told you about Kai Havertz. I don't think Kai Havertz had a bad game. I just think he missed sitters. right? Like he really missed it. He should have scored one of those, because he played as a center forward today, and I think he really played in that position very well. The way he was arriving into the penalty area, his kind of hold-up play for the team as well, he's been fantastic in that role. And you can see why Mikel Arteta chose to play Kai Havertz over Eddie Nketiah. The truth is that he did miss sitters, and I talked about when I talked about Kai Havertz and the role he will play at Arsenal and what he needs to improve on. I said he needs to massively understand that he's gonna be a goal scorer. He's going to be asked to put the ball into the back of the net for Arsenal this season, and he needs to work on that. I don't think he's worked on that, but I think he will get there. You can see he's getting himself into those areas, he's ghosting into spaces, and he's finding himself in the penalty area. At least that is something that we can count on Kai Havertz to do. Apart from Kai, I don't think that we had any other abnormal, circumstances in the game. The rest of the players, the rest of the team actually played quite, in a way that you could predict, but also in a very, very calm way. Apart from maybe a couple of 1-2 very good performances from Timber, from Saliba, from Rice, the rest of the team was compact. The rest of the team they came to do exactly what the manager instructed them to do. Now, there are few things we'll talk about, probably later on. But the first thing is, how did Manchester City lose up to 60% ball possession to Arsenal? That is courtesy of Declan Rice. And let's talk about Declan Rice before we get into what this result means to Arsenal and to our season. Rice has always been a good defensive midfielder. Rice has always been a formidable force in that Arsenal, in that West Ham side. But how important is he to them defensively, right? He makes them solid. He wins the ball back. He's so good at intercepting, and he will always run and, cover his backline. We have seen more of that today. We have seen the Declan Rice that we expected to sign. We've seen the Declan Rice that is meant to win the ball back. We've seen the Declan Rice that is meant to allow Arsenal go in front, allow Arsenal, get into the final third, allow Arsenal play beautiful football. We've seen that today. He's been very, very good. Absolutely very, very good. Actually, I think he's the only player in this Arsenal side, plus Timber. They are the only two players that were doing their own thing. The rest of the players were collectively doing what was asked of them, but Rice was doing his own thing. Running to win the ball back, running with the ball in those deep spaces. He was not caring about how and when do I pass. He was caring about, do we have possession? And that is going to be very key in our season. It's going to be very, very key, Declan Rice, in our season, because it's one of those things that we lacked last season. When we lose the ball, we struggled to win it back. With Thomas Partey, at times, we did control games a lot, but when we lost possession, it was more like of a problem to actually win back possession. But in this game, you've just seen against Rodri, against Kovacic, he was absolutely very, very solid. Julian Timber is another player you've got to talk about in this one, because with Julian Timber, I'm not really sure how good he is, and I'm not really sure why he is that good and how he is that good. It is very evident, and Mikel Arteta has seen this. When you take off a player like Julian Timber, who's having a very good game, he was not having that good game by mistake. He was actually bowling the likes of Kyle Walker and the likes of Bernardo Silva. So, we've got to talk about it. Julian Timber probably was the best player on the pitch. I'll give it to Declan Rice. No issues, no worries, because with all the price tag and the pressure to put in such a performance against Manchester City, that was special. But Julian Timber, kudos to him. He's been very, very good. And William Saliba, like I said at the beginning of this video, he just kept Erling Haaland quiet. That is what you want to do. There are going to be so many games where we play strikers that are accustomed to scoring against us. Haaland, Kane, Ivan Toney. And I think, William Saliba is going to be very crucial, very, very crucial in those games. Today, he's been exceptional. 0 shots for Erling Haaland. 0 shots for Erling Haaland. Can you believe that? Like magic, real magic. But anyway, let's get into what that performance means for Arsenal. We'll talk more about the players in the player ratings. Now, what this means for Arsenal, and what this really represents for us as a side is one or two things. The season has started, and whatever we've done in this game is what is expected of the team until the end of the season. There are no compromises. There are no other words. That is what we expect Arsenal to do. We expect Arsenal to be competitive. We expect Arsenal to be solid. We expect Arsenal to be strong. So there is nothing and there is no way we are going to expect or we are going to allow anything less than that. Now, what Mikel Arteta will have seen and what Mikel Arteta should expect from the Arsenal fan base is we are now going to start demanding trophies. The Community Shield is a beginning. It's just the beginning. It will bolster our mentality. It will increase our belief in ourselves, and it is an opening kind of silverware. That means that when we play in the Carling Cup, that means that when we play in the FA Cup, this team will know what it means to lift some silverware. It is very important. I mean, many people have said it before, and I said it before, that the fact that we've not won in a very long time, the fact that Arsenal have not been champions in a very long time, it will cause distress signals when we get to the byline, when we get that important part of the season, when we get to that important part of probably the UCL, probably the FA Cup. It was always going to, cause distress signals. So the Community Shield literally is something to prepare us for the big stage. I think we will compete for the Champions League. I think we'll compete for the Premier League. I'm not really sure we will win them, but we will compete because we've got the team that anyone wants to have, and we've got a manager that has built a project, and it is high time to cash in, to cash in the rewards. All right. So very important step in our season. Very important. Just imagine if Arsenal had lost to Manchester City, probably 4-0 or 5-0 today. That would mean that we are massively behind them. That would mean that Arsenal are nowhere near Manchester City. And that would have been a problem. So what we've seen today is that Arsenal have come out and they have come to test themselves against the best machine. 45 minutes, for me, we were better than them. 45 minutes, they were better than us. So, it literally shows that we are 50-50. And I just want to show you the statistics in this game. We will talk about them later on. But this is what I want you to see. Every statistic and every metric today, Arsenal are either better or less by 1. We had 7 shots, they had 8. We had 3 on target, they had 4. They had 55% ball possession. We had 45. We had 486 passes. They had 588. We had 87% ball passing accuracy. They had 88. We committed 6 fouls. They committed 11. We had 3 yellow cards. They had 1. We had 5 corners. They had 6. That is, I think, these numbers are literally there to remind Arsenal and Mikel Arteta that we are not far away. So the question is, have we got better? I'm going to say yes. I think we've become better. I think we are now able to fight against Manchester City. I think now we are able to go in any game and put up a fight against City. But emotionally, apart from the psychological part of the meaning of this game, emotionally it is going to be a booster. It is going to be more of a morale booster. It is going to be more of, I don't know whether you grow, but I think maturity-wise, it's going to be a very important day. Last season, when we got into that period where it matters, we fumbled. The difference in this game is that Arsenal almost gave it away in the minutes where it mattered, but Arsenal bounced back when it mattered the most. That is important. That is very important. Last season, we gave it away when it mattered the most. in this game, we have won it back when it mattered the most. And I think Mikel Arteta will talk to his players and he will tell them, listen, if you want to come back to Wembley as FA Cup finalists, as Carabao Cup finalists, you've got to play like that every single game. You've got to treat every game like a final. And this time we're not going to take it game by game. We are becoming ruthless, and we are here to be absolutely ruthless. So the maturity that has been displayed in this game is actually going to be displayed throughout the whole of the season. And I can now comfortably predict that we'll be among the top three. We will be among the top three. I don't care whether Liverpool are better. I don't care whether Chelsea are better. I don't care who has become much better. We will be among the top three. We are really, really improving. If Mikel Arteta can find that right partnership between Kai Havertz and the players up top, if he can get him scoring the goals, if they can work on his finishing, this Arsenal team is cooking something. And that is very close. Now, that is just a curtain raiser. After all the reactions, after all what we've said, it's just a curtain raiser, right? We need to talk about the real season. And this week, I'll be dropping my predictions. I'll be dropping my league predictions very, very soon.